Hello, this is Sibylle, Wild Spirits Coaching. Hi, sorry I'm a little late. I will tell you why I'm late. It's actually really silly. So I'm saying hello here from, as usual, my living room, but I am recording this live training from my brand new iPad Pro, and I feel so posh even saying this. Now, if you think has Sibylle won the lottery, I can assure you, no, I haven't, but I have actually won this iPad Pro. So I got this from my wonderful employers who gave me an excellence award. Isn't that nice? That is so lovely. And I feel so amazing. I mean, I don't know whether the video is actually larger, but I see so much more of myself recording this in my iPad Pro than I used to in my iPhone. So the one thing is that I haven't quite figured it out because I only got it today. And for the last 3 or 4 minutes, I was talking to the iPad Pro, not realizing that I wasn't actually live yet. That's why I'm a little late today. I am so sorry. I do apologize. I hope people haven't left and disappeared just yet. So hi and welcome. I see the first people are joining in. Hello, welcome to this week's training. Now, once again, sorry it's late, and if you missed the beginning, you can still see it. Go back to it in the replay, and I explain why I'm late. It's very embarrassing. So this week's training is going to intensify this week's article, which was in my weekly newsletter Monday Sparkles. And if you're not subscribed to Monday Sparkles yet, you really should be. Then get yourself off to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up for the Monday Sparkles newsletter, because what you get there is a full package full of special offers, exclusives that only subscribers ever get, insider news. Subscribers know everything a little before everybody else, and they get freebies, more freebies than anybody else, and so on and so forth. There's also one main Coaching Magic article every week. And that one, the main article, not the rest of the newsletter, but the main article is always posted on my website as well as a blog. So if you've missed it this week, you can still go back after the training and read it. It was called Passions, Decisions, Here's One Surefire Step to Cut Through the Crap. And you can find it on my website. The link is in the description of the video. So the website is wildspiritscoaching.com. And just follow the link and go to the Menu Point blog. It should be the latest blog post. Now, I'm not going to recount the entire article, and I'm in a way, for once, it would actually be better if you had read it before, but don't worry too much about it if you haven't. It's about values, and the reason why it would be good if you'd already done it is because it links you, there's a link to a list of values to get you started, to find out what your personal top values are. To put it very briefly, without recounting the entire article, values are something that don't change. You're more or less born with them. If you have beliefs are things that you acquire, that you learn early in childhood, from teachers, from parents, from conclusions that you draw. Some of them might be wrong conclusions from a child's perspective that you carry with you all your life, but you can actually change them. Values can't be changed. They are the core of your being, and once you find out what your top values are, it's much easier to make decisions or to decide between multiple passions that you might have, and so on. Values are they're like a compass through life, and this is what this training is about. It goes a little deeper than that article did, and it's about a life of values, a life full of values, you could say. What I mean by that is that once you've found your top values, actually for this you need not just your top values, but everything that's sprung out to you, that sang to you at first. It can be a list of 10 or 15 values. Usually I recommend narrowing it down and doing the knockout system, which is more important, until you're left with about 5 top values, because that is really the essence of your being. But these 5 top values are especially good if you want to determine what not to do in your life. If there's something that goes against one of your top values, you're not going to succeed in it, you're not going to be happy in it, and it can actually lead, there are many examples, and I've come across many of them myself, where people got seriously ill or sabotaged themselves in a very serious kind of way if they tried to go against one of their top values. So for what we're doing today, you can use even your top 10 or top 15 values, everything that is one of your values. And what I'm going to suggest is that you take a bit of an audit of your life, of all areas of your life, and check them against your values. And so you can easily figure out which part of your life might not be aligned, or you might be doing something that has nothing to do with your values, or where you're doing well and should do more of, if that makes sense. And I'll give you examples. Now I'm dividing this into I'm dividing life into 5 different sections, and obviously you can subdivide them into 20 or more. I'm just simplifying it a little bit because this training is not supposed to be very long. So I'll start with health. We'll all agree that health is one part of life. Our health, our well-being, our vitality. Look at what you're doing in the sector when it comes to your health, and that could include things like your nutrition, it could include exercise, it could do unhealthy habits like smoking, it could include healthy habits like getting lots of sleep and getting regular sleep. Just evaluate it all and look at it with a view to your values, that the values that you determined when you looked at this list. And again, if you haven't done it yet, you can still do it later. You will probably have a bit of an idea of what your values are already, but you can always, after this training, go back to the article and check the list of values and make your list of your top 5 or top 10. So I'll give you an example. One of my values is joy, as you know, because I'm the joy and passions coach, obviously. So joy and excitement is it's not one of my top 5, by the way, but it is definitely in the top 10. That's why that's why if I try to stay fit by going on a treadmill every day, my brain would die. I could just not do it. I would never stick to it. And a lot of people try something because they think, for example, they go running because they think you have to go running to stay fit. And if it doesn't align with who you are, with your values, then you might not succeed in it. And then you beat yourself up as lazy or as inconsistent, when actually you could have done something else that you would stick with all the time. So what I love is, for example, sword fighting. And I can't do it right now because I'm injured, but I love it because it keeps challenging me. It's different. It keeps me on my toes, and it keeps my mind occupied as well as my body. Same with the archery. I do field archery. I don't just shoot at the same target all over again. I walk through the forest and shoot at different targets, uphill, downhill, through the leaves, kneeling down and doing different things, because that keeps me occupied. Same as with dancing, because I love music. So look at your health habits, even your nutrition, and check it against your values and see what you can adjust there. But you'll be surprised how easy things get, and how good you suddenly are, and how consistent you can be if what you do is aligned with your values. The second area of life I call personal growth. You could also call it self-care, the relationship with yourself. What do you do? Do you read books about yourself? I don't mean fictional books. Now, I make a point of reading both fictional and non-fictional books every day, because I love fiction. I used to study literature. I love fantasy literature. I read a lot of books. But I also read a lot of non-fictional books, because that is part of my personal growth, and because I love reading, this is one of the things that I do. And coaching obviously is my thing. So I don't only work as a coach, but I also have a coach of my own. So I have twice a month I have a session with my own coach. So this is what's aligned with values of mine. Look at this against your values. What is your values? Personal, is growth a value of yours? Or is learning, constant learning, then maybe you want to challenge your brain by learning a new language, by studying something else. See what is your way of growing yourself, because there are different ways of going about this. The next area would be relationships. Now this is family, this is friends, this is a significant other or others if you have them. This could be your children, this could be any person, or even your work colleagues, anybody you have a human relationship with. Again, check it against your values, and this is pretty self-explanatory. If for example, equality is a very big issue for you, then you'll not be happy as a stay-at-home housewife, where there's massive equality in terms of economical power and separation of labor. If sharing the load and stuff like that is your value, then you'll have to go about your relationship in a different way. And I'm not saying that it's better or worse, it's just aligned to your values. Because, for example, my parents were married for 56 years, and the reason they're not married anymore is that my mom died, so they didn't get divorced or anything. So, and they were always very happy with this traditional. My dad went and worked, and my mom did the household and the children, and that was what they knew. Of course, it's how they grew up. But I will argue that they were very happy, and it suited both of them very well. So I'm not saying that is a bad thing. Check your values. My parents had very traditional values. Not at all like me, I'm completely different. But I don't have to live their lives. They had to live their lives, and they were happy the way they were. So don't be ashamed, or don't think you have to adjust to something, or to conform to some notion. Find out what is your core, what is your value, what makes you happy, and try and find that in your relationships. The next area, the fourth, is work or business. So career, business, all kinds of gainful activity. That sounds a bit weird. I mean, the way that you make your money. For example, I had a client once, a super bright, super intelligent woman. She was so talented in so many ways. She worked in sales. And she was in one of those sales jobs where her boss actually told her, he actually told her, go out and tell that client whatever you have to in order to make him buy. So he basically told her, or gave her license to lie as long as she got the sale. We all know these kinds of salespeople. We all know them, and they're the reason why sales and salespeople have such a bad reputation, right? And why so many people say they don't like salespeople, or they don't like sales. Now I'm telling you, there is a different kind of sales possible too. I sell my services, but one of my top values is honesty and openness. So I will never tell somebody or promise somebody something that I can't deliver, because that would feel, not because I'm such a good person, but it's my value. It's one of my core values. It would be akin to suicide, emotional suicide, if I did this, because honesty is right on top on my top 5 values. And for this client of mine, this coaching client, it was also one of her top values. She was desperately unhappy in that job. And because she made good money, she didn't quite realize for a long time why she hated it so much. And then when we dug a little deeper and found out her values, and these stories came out with what her boss used to say to her, she at some point realized that she was going completely against her her inner deepest core. And like I said in the beginning of this training, take this very seriously. You can change beliefs, but you cannot change your values. If you're being stubborn and trying to go something that is against one of your values, you are going to really hurt yourself. At best, you'll just be very emotionally hurt. People get depressed. People get anxiety, people get all sorts of mental health issues. And at worst, you come down with a physical illness that'll kill you. Cancer is typical of, cancer is actually, a lot of people say that many can, of course not all cancers, I'm not going to simplify this, cancer is a huge complex issue. But there's a lot of research going into that, about the connection between cancer and the mind and the emotions and the emotional state, and going against something that you believe that is your deepest value is seen as extremely detrimental to health, especially when it comes to certain kinds of cancer. So do take this seriously. Now I'm not telling you this as a horror story. I'm encouraging you to align your, because this is the bright side, it's the other side of the medal. If you manage to align your life in all areas of your life with your values more and more, and obviously this is an ongoing process. I'm still working on it. I still don't have all areas of my life completely perfectly lined up. And of course there's subject to change as well over time, but the more I get in alignment, the happier I am. It's so easy to wake up and feel good about yourself if your life is on an even keel, because it's aligned with who you are. If you don't have to pretend, if you don't have to strain, everything becomes so effortless. And this brings me to the last point, and that would be passions, obviously. I mean, how would I not mention passions? This is what I coach people about. Now, also your passions need to be in alignment with your values. I don't even have to explain that, do I? Fortunately, what we are passionate about, what lights us up, what makes us forget time, what makes us so happy that it doesn't seem like work and we could do it all day and we forget to sleep and eat and all the rest. Obviously, this is often an expression of our values. And if you go to that list in the article and you have a bit of a problem coming up with your values or really finding your values or narrowing them down, then look at the things that you really love doing. Look at the things that really light you up, because they are good clues as to where your values might lie. And that might be a good hint for you. All right, now guys, I couldn't actually see, this is one thing about this iPad. Like I said, I'm using this for the first time. I couldn't actually see your comments. Now I'm going to scroll up a little bit. I didn't mean to ignore you. Hi everyone. Does anyone have any comments or any questions about this? So hello. Yep, Linda, I recognize that. Freedom is also one of my values. I'll tell you a couple of mine. Honesty and openness is my top value. Independence and freedom is the second one. Joy is one of them. And here Linda shares a couple of her: fun, play, creativity. Definitely, these are definitely your top 10 values. Variety, self-respect, very important. Yeah, that's wonderful. Growth. I have a huge value in growth. Personal growth, my own personal growth, and my clients. Obviously, this is why my coaching is so important and why it is the perfect career for me. Is it just me, or am I huge on the screen right now? This iPad is amazing. It's like having a TV screen with Sibylle on TV. This is a bit scary, actually. Hello, Krista. Yep, I couldn't be a housewife either. I'm completely with you here. I'm scrolling through the older comments. Sorry, guys, I really missed a lot. Yeah. Yeah. No, if you're in a work environment that doesn't suit you, that doesn't nourish you, it's one of the most devastating things for the soul. It's literally soul eating and soul deadening, and it's really important to get out. Music is also one of my values. Musicality, definitely. Yep. I think neither of us who is here on the live training is a housewife. We can all agree on that. Group hug. It's time for a group hug. All right. In kind of an action step. Now, those of you who haven't done that values list yet, I would like to invite you to just go to wildspiritscoaching.com, check out the blog, the top blog article, go to the blog tab and check out the top article that has the link to a list of values, and that list is not complete. You can have values that are not on that. What I meant to say, by the way, I forgot that, in terms of health, when I spoke about health, that area of life. For example, sports. If one of your values is competitiveness, competitiveness, a lot of people think that's something bad. It doesn't mean that you need to be better than everybody else. But you're competitive, you want to do well, you can even compete with yourself, with what you did last year or last week or yesterday. So competitiveness is not a bad thing. If that is one of your values, then maybe you would like to look into a competitive sport, because that'll bring you a lot of fun. This is just another idea, because so many people say, I can't stick with sports. And then when you look into it, they've been kicking themselves into doing something that is not at all aligned with their values. So what I'd like you to do as an action step, as a homework, so to speak, is to come up with one thing in your life that you're going to align or do or stop doing that is not aligned with your values. So either you have two options. Either you can start doing something that is aligned with your options, like, for example, my excitement and joy, and the sport that I chose was sword fighting and historical combat, because that's so because that engages the mind as well as the body, and that is so challenging on all levels that it's an endless source of fun for me and never gets boring. So either that, or you'll find something in one area of your life that you found out or that you realized is not aligned with one of your values, and that you'll stop. So if you'd like to share this, I'd love to see it in the comments. It doesn't have to be now. Very soon I'm going to finish this live stream, But you can always, I'll post it on my page, and you can always write it in a comment. If you're watching this in the replay, you can also always comment even days after today. I'll always try and get back to you and reply to the comments as much as I can. Okay, so it's amazing if you try and align all 5 areas of your life with your values, and you should do that. But for now, for this action step, I want to know one particular point, either something that you'll drop that is not aligned with your values, or one of your values, or something that you'll take up, that you'll start doing, that is aligned with one of your values. Okay, so I'd love to hear about that. If you'd like to share, I'd be very honored. And I will, it's like I said, I'm with the iPad Pro is so new, I've missed half the comments, but I'll go back over them and I'll reply to them from now on. Now, before you go, we're nearly done. Sorry this took so long, but we did start late because I was talking to myself for the first 5 minutes. I just wanted to say one more time that I've changed my structure and my offers. I've changed my prices and I've increased them a little bit, but don't worry, it's not that much more expensive, and it is by far the best value because I've added so much value and so many extras and so many bonuses. The basic program is only slightly dearer than it was, the basic 3-month program. And there's now an intensive version which has exactly twice as much coaching and more than twice the bonuses, and it costs far less than twice the price. So it's fantastic value because even the basic program is still about half the price than other programs that are 6 coaching sessions and 90-day programs of that intensity. So check it out. It's on wildspiritscoaching.com. I'd love to hear what you think. Also read the article, go and find your values, and whatever you'd like to share in the comments, I will get back to you after the video, after I finish it, and reply to the comments. All right? And if you're not subscribed to Monday Sparkles yet, go off and subscribe to it. Do it. Coaches orders. I wish you a lovely evening and a beautiful week, and I'm going to log off now. Bye bye.